Hi, in today's video, we are excited to share the next step in our DevOps journey. Preferably, we demonstrated our sales managed ELK platform deployed on the Azure VM environment. In this recording, we will show you how our current PoP is implemented using ELK Cloud. So after we receive the result code from the POP team, our analysis led to the architecture like you see on the screen. This diagram summarizes our solution in a nutshell, illustrating how the POP is deployed on Analytic Cloud. So let me explain some key points based on this diagram. You see on the screen, the infrastructure is provisioning by GitHub Action. So of course, the Terraform script is being used in this provisioning, and also the application is provisioning by Argo CD, and so that means for every change in the application side, the admin will perform the intelligence by using the hem trap and with the support by Argo CD to deploy application into the Azure resource here. And the main topics we would want to share with the teams along with this demo today is the analytics search on cloud. So once you implement your architecture by using the analytic clouds to manage the log of your application component, and basically you need to perform this by integrate with the Azure Cloud Service or even Google Cloud or AWS Cloud Service. And in this POP, we implement the architecture with a analytic cloud by using Azure service. And to implement this, um, we have to set up the collector that's supposed to collect the log from the from all the components related to our application. For example, on the screen, you see here we got many type of the collector or log agent. For example, we have here the analytic agent. This is very common. And also, if we want to custom with many complex log output, we can use the hotels or APM. And of course, with the kind of the management log is will be managed by Fleet. So for the detail of the configuration, we may discuss about Fleet for further for in the future. So of course, with the current implementation of the POP, we see that it also required to create the alert, and also the it integrate with the entry ID to make the authorized access into the analytic cloud cluster, and our secrets which is being used for the entire of the implementation here is managed by Azure Key Vault. So now let's zoom into a soft demo. In this demonstration, we will deploy a sample application using template code developed by our SDA develop teams. Although this demos use a template code, it accurately represents how the POP implementation operates in the current status. You will see how deployments trigger a log collection and how the log are visualized in the ELK Cloud. For the scope of this demos, I just implement the APM and analytics agent only. For the open telemetries, I put on hold because we don't have much resource on it to implement more to full element for the kind of the log collections. And now, as usual, I will try to provisioning the infrastructure first by using a telephone apply. Does that out to approve? So this test is manually to perform by in my terminal, but in the real case, for the automation, we will use the GitHub action like we mentioned in the diagram. So now the installation is now in progress to provisioning the infrastructure, and we may wait for some minutes. While waiting for the progress to be completed, I would like to show you guys how to implement the APM in our Node.js code. This depends on the application code we are developing on, and for now, I'm develop my front-end application using the Node.js with Angular TypeScript, and that's why you see here in the environments of the configurations, we have here the configuration endpoint for the APM. So we will house this endpoint after we complete the provisioning the ELK Cloud cluster, and we will catch up that endpoint, and we will update the endpoint into this main.ts of our TypeScript code. So that's the way we implement the APM into our education code. And for plugins, I think it's more complicated. You can use the implementation by embedded those into the home chart like this. This is the same approach with the PoP is implementing. You see here with the backends, we need to we also provide the endpoint of the APM, and also we need to provide the credentials of the the endpoint. In the front end, we don't need to indicate the credential because all those things is processed in the UI, so we don't need to prosecute. We don't want to input the credential there. So just simple like this. And for testing, for temporary testing, I don't have much resources to represent this, so I temporarily comment it out. And then the next question is how to implement the electric agent, like we mentioned in our model here, the electric agent. And come back with our support, we also implement those kind of the agents by using the Helm chart. And this upshot is similar with the ones POP is implementing. So in this Helm chart, we also got the cluster binding, also some demand set to be installed in our the AKS node. And of course, we should have some row and row binding. And the main thing here, we need to provide the value for the the needed the connection. For example, we need to provide the endpoint of the electricity agents. No, we need to provide the endpoint for the electricity API. So that means once the electricity is collect the log from our AKA cluster, it will push all the kind of log via this API to electricity. And now, as you can see in the screens, are the provisioning step in our completed. Now, the next step, we will jump into the Azure portal and we will see how to reach to our Elasticsearch agents. So after you provisioning the components of our PoP platform, you see here the Elasticsearch instance which creates on cloud service. And follow with this, you will see the landing link, landing John link. It will redirect you to this Kibana dashboard, and you click on it. So after you click on landing John URL, you will be redirected to the nice dashboard like this, and by default, it will automatically create for you a default flick with the default agent. So let me share you that information. So if you zoom into the uh, the management part of the agent, you will see here the status is healthy. So that means everything is working well. So now the main thing here is we will try to get the APM endpoint, and we need to get the APM endpoint and update back into our helm chart or our application we define in our shortcode. So yes, this is the deployments which we created after we complete running the Telephone code. And now we'll try to catch up the APM URL. So just click into the files, and we will zoom back into our Kibana service, and I will click into the analysis. Now better we can go to the observabilities, and we will go to APM. And now you see we don't have any service available yet. So after we deploy our application and also we deploy the APM agent, and we expect to see the uh, the service will be appear here. So now let's try to add the data. We actually use add data to get its endpoint. But all the steps we perform in our code inside, we just copy the endpoint. So after we copy the endpoint, we are back to our front-end configurations or even the back-end configuration to update that. And I have here, I'll update the endpoint to this. After the update is completed, I need to review and create a new Docker image for the deployment as well. So now you can see the builds in progress to reproduce the needed Docker image. Because I'm performs this manual for testing only. So in the case we need to perform the kind of the activities on the testing environment or even in the production environment. Of course, we need to use the the automation CI/CD tools like we mentioned in our discussion. So while waiting for the build is completed, I would like to share you guys about the customization in our support for the APM. And you can see as we developed the app front end using the TypeScript, and mainly you call the APM in this main.ts here, and in this content of the code. We perform some customization to get a log. For example, we perform some get error, catch error, and we perform some get and post here for the purpose of the testing. And for some complicated the customization, it could be the update to another file. But for me, with the symbols implementation for the demo like this, we just simply update the configuration for the TS mains only. Now you can see on the screens all the view and push Docker image is completed. Now we are starting to deploy our application into our Kubernetes cluster. Now, before we run the installation, we need to get credentials from our ELK cluster. And now we already completed and successful to create the authorization for our Kubernetes cluster. And now the next step is to run the Helm chart to deploy our application. And now you can see on the screens after I run the Helm chart to install our application, which includes our APM endpoint. And now it already completed. And we may wait for some seconds for all the pods is up and running. You see now the port for our application in system port in up and running. You don't see any editor agent port here because I don't have much resource to prepare a support to install the editing agent here in our cluster. So let's skip this. But the installation is not much complete, and we focus on how to implement the APM endpoint into our application and how it's visualized in the Kibana dashboard. Now, I think we are ready to jump into our Kibana dashboard to see if our installation is fit or not. One more note that this is the credential of the endpoint. You see here we got the endpoint URL here, and it also provides us the credentials, I mean the tokens for our application authorized access into the endpoints. Of course, with this we can create multiple APM endpoints for this for specific. For example, if you create a new endpoint, this URL should be different for very specific our application. And now let's try to refresh this, and we don't want to lose this APM, and we just try to switch back to the the APM service to see if our deployment is effective or not. So before we can reach to our Kibana dashboard for APM, we need to log into our application here. And now I already logged into our application. And now we zoom back to our Kibana dashboard, and we try to refresh again to see what happened there. Now you can see that it works perfectly. You can see you can click here the the link in which jump to our transactions like this, and you can see a lot of the customization because there. For example, in that because in our custom in our main spreadsheet we have some custom to guess the employee. It's now this does not work because my front end is not exposed. For saving costs, I temporarily using the bulk forwarding like you see here. Once you register our application in the Kubernetes cluster, and then you will see the dashboard like this. Setup in now, so I think it's working well for the APM, and you can perform the the tracking and monitoring everything here, or even you can create the dashboard for this. In this demo, we also mentioned about the fleet. So we already know that the fleet you manage all the agents related to the log collections. And for this demo, I'm using the default agents, which we manage by fleet. Uh, of course, with fleet we can use to set policy for us as well. So for those kind of details, PoP platform also implements many policy for the agent. And you can see here the blocks that means it's the built-in agent. So you cannot edit or remove it until you destroy this deployment. So that means you have to have a way to create a multiple fleet here by adding a new fleet or even adding a new agent here. We also can create the alert like we detect in POP shortcode. It's create a feature alert in the Kibana dashboard. So in this scope of the most, I don't have time to create the alert yet. Just for the future implementation, if this is required or you want to more detail about this, we can work later. So let's zoom to a bit to the POP platform support. And you can see here the same approach I implement in the SDS, the DevOps teams. We also use the APM endpoint like this. And we also use open telemetry. Here is the open telemetry protocol. And also use the same endpoint for APM. And also we zoom move up a bit is related to the value for the implementation. No, no, we will try to find the editor agent. Here, the editor agent in this editor agent is used to deploy into the Kubernetes cluster, and there's may have some value file for a specific environment, and in every value for a specific environment, it use the same handshake, but you can see here that it use the adaptive agents here with the specific version like this. So basically, with the digital I guess the same approach of the POP platform to make the demo and just focus on APM's implementation only. For time being or for the next future plans, let's look into this for more details based on your requirement. So thanks for your watching today.